So tips for success. I suggested to the SEC in the summer of 2012 that they include what I call crowd audition, a way for people to test market their company online without having done all the filing, without all the audit expense, and without raising money, just to see if there was enough interest. The SEC chose to adopt that suggestion and they called it test the waters. And then we trademarked a number of interesting treatments of that term because we were paying attention. So test the waters, you can test market your offering legitimately and relatively inexpensively. So that's what I recommend when, it's ambiguous. I mean, some companies should absolutely not do a Reg A plus online raise. Others look phenomenally great. And when we're in the gray zone, then I'll suggest doing test the waters. There's two types of Reg A plus, tier one and tier two. Tier one goes up to 20 million. Tier two starts at 0 and goes up to 75 million. Probably 97 or 98% of capital raised in Reg A pluses is tier two. Very few companies can make tier one work well. There's too many expenses dealing with the states, getting blue sky permission, which you don't need in tier two. So don't do tier one unless in exceptional circumstances. Avoid depending on email lists. We have never yet seen, except for a customer base of active customers, then of course that email list can be very useful. But buying renting lists and sending out emails trying to raise money, we have never yet seen that succeed. Not to say it cannot, but the odds are stacked against it. Include international where what you're doing resonates with international folks. They don't get as many great choice opportunities, and many people internationally would love to be invested in quality US companies. Avoid big name auditing firms. Typically, companies doing Reg A pluses tend to be smaller, and we've had cases where two things have happened. One is where medium large auditors jacked up the price when it was too late to switch away from them. You have to start the audit process again. We've seen prices trebled or quadrupled, so avoiding that risk is important, using known auditors that won't do that. And the big name auditors, they may engage willingly, but they tend to assign low quality teams to the audit process. They charge too much. And we had one company that was never able to get their company that had an international operation and in the US. They were never able to get their Deloitte audit done. And the board ended up canceling their entire Reg A plus IPO to the NYSE plans for that reason. So be careful about those. Set a low minimum escrow raise amount if that's legitimate. So, if you have to buy a big asset, it isn't legitimate, but otherwise setting it low so you can make escrow drawdowns starting early on in the life of the offering, and that's commonly done. Setting a higher maximum than you need to give yourself flexibility to raise the amount you actually raise without having to requalify, without having to request a change from the SEC. And I touched on this earlier, you can change the valuation and the share price during your Reg A plus up to 20% total without requesting permission of the SEC, but by notifying them. And as long as you conduct this change in the correct manner, which obviously we've helped companies do. So the flexibility and the ability to do that when you do it properly can help market the raise and also reward the earlier risk takers and allow you to change the valuation as you go. If you wanted to double the valuation, then you would need to pause the offering, file only the share price change, the valuation change. And then typically the SEC will qualify that in a 2 or 3 week window because you didn't change anything else. And again, they're not going to second guess the share price or the valuation. Okay, other things are obvious. Marketing is key. You can do it for 3 years. An evergreen strategy is a good thing because you build cumulative brand awareness, which makes ongoing marketing easier.